Hey, welcome back to my channel, Vast13. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share the video. Hey, welcome back to Vast13. This is part 2 of the 90-Day Fiancé, The Last Resort. We already covered a couple of couples in the part 1, and we're going to do the rest in this one. We're going to start things off with Ari and Binny. So, this couple, I think, was doomed from the start. From the previous seasons and in this whole season of The Last Resort, it seems like Ari wants control of the whole entire relationship. She really seems very controlling, I mean, at least we find out in the tell-all, at least, that she was controlling his passwords for his social media because she was looking out for him. Because according to her, and he even admits it himself, he's very naive. He's very trusting. He thinks that people are looking out for him, and he actually gets extorted online. But I just think that she should have explained it throughout the season. She did not. Luckily, she explained it in the tell-all, but throughout the whole entire season, she didn't explain this. So she made herself look like the bad guy throughout the whole season. She made herself look crazy. Like, yo, why are you getting this guy's passwords? Why are you, doing the things that you're doing? She just looked in the wrong the whole time. So to me, it didn't make any sense as to why she didn't just explain this from the beginning. But it's nice that she's looking out for him. But I feel that she should have just let it go. Like, at the end of the day, especially you're separated. The relationship is over. I mean, you're always gonna have a connection because you do have a child together, but he needs to figure things out on his own. You need to let him go so that you can heal from him. Because if you stay close to him, you'll never heal up. You'll always have that wound fresh, because you're gonna always keep seeing them. Even if you're not in the relationship, just having that closeness, you're gonna be like, oh, I still care about that person, because you're seeing them constantly. Y'all need to stay away from each other, recover, and only deal with each other when it comes to your child. As for why this relationship didn't work from the beginning, I think it's just that Ari is very spontaneous. She's lived her whole life, at least from what like I said, I'm gonna go off of what I see on the show, and for what I see is she lives her life very spontaneously. She just, oh, I want to live in this country. Boom, she does it. She does it. She does it. Like, she doesn't like think about things. She just goes through things and does it immediately. Like, she saw Benny, likes him, got pregnant, got married. Like, she needed to take things easy. And then on top of that, she keeps up a lot of relationships, like strange relationships. Like, her ex-husband is her best friend. That in the previous seasons, that was so weird seeing. And like the fact that dude knew your menstrual cycle. Like, as a guy, I couldn't imagine, some dude knowing my girl's menstrual cycle and all that, and I have to be okay with them being friends. It's like it was very strange. So I feel that she needs to think about things, think it through before just making a decision. And she didn't. She just kept going on and going on and going on, and that's why she got into the situation she got into with Benny, I think, liked her, but I don't think he ever really fully loved her. Maybe he has love for her now as as the mother of his child, but I don't think he ever loved her like as oh, that's my beautiful wife that I love, or something like that. I don't think he ever viewed her that way, and I can't really get mad at him for that. I just feel that they never had the time to get to those levels. It's just literally, they just started thinking with their other parts, and immediately that attraction just connected them, and instead of just thinking it through, they just let that happen, and obviously no protection. You're gonna create a child, and so that's kind of what it was. I also feel like her parents, Ari's parents, are very some of the sweetest people. Like I mentioned this in the first video about Brandon and his parents, so some of the nicest. I feel like Ari's mom and dad are some of the nicest people. Seem very, very sweet and nice. But I feel like they should have like grounded her, like, like, gave her more like discipline, maybe more like, hey, you should, focus on this, or, focus on that, like more, not give her so much freedom. I believe. I feel like the fact that she has so much freedom, she just does all the things she does, is because she's never like had like a parent like tell her like, hey, maybe you should think about this. And I think that's why she lives her life the way she lives it. I'm not trying to hate on her parents for that, because like I said, they're some of the nicest people. But I just feel that she needs some of that guidance in her life, because her decision making has not been the best. Also, so as for Benny, he's just a type of guy that seems like all he wants to do is just be in the entertainment industry, and wants to do. He did some MMA. He's a dancer. He does a lot of things, and that's great. I hope he figures out exactly what he wants to do, and he gets a good career out of that. But I feel like the major thing he needs to focus on now is his kid. Because they were mentioning that I guess he's not spending as much time as he should, and I feel that he should be doing that, because considering he had mentioned before that he had a kid with a previous lady who I guess took the kid away. He hasn't seen that kid. I don't know what's up with that whole situation. But if you don't want to have a part 2 of that and have 2 children that probably gonna grow up to resent you, you need to spend time with them. Yes, focus on your career and your happiness, but your kid goes first. So you need to focus on that relationship right now. And same thing for Ari. She needs to just focus on her kid, and before she decides to make any moves and try to make another relationship happen, focus on your child and your own, happiness. The other thing I was going to mention about Ari that I kind of noticed, it's kind of weird and it's kind of like a downer that I noticed in this tell-all, is that she was wearing a nice little dress, and it was revealing her arms. Her arms were out, and I noticed she had like a lot of scars on her arms. And I haven't seen anything on social media about it, but I don't know if at one point or another, I don't want to be that person to say that she did this to herself or does this to herself, anything like that. But it looks like she at one point might have self-harmed or something, because there was a lot of scarring on her arm, and I found that very, very strange. I hope she's not doing that to herself. I hope she got help, and I hope this was in the past. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was from something else. I hope that I'm just getting it wrong here. But I would hope that she's not doing anything like that, and if she did, it was in the past and gotten help, and she has moved forward from that. Because I would hate for her to be harming herself or anything like that. So yeah, just please get help. For anybody out there, don't harm yourself or others. Just please get help. Sorry for being a downer there, but it's just something I noticed. I don't know if other people did. But yeah, they should just keep it this way, keep separated, and just focus on the kid. Just interact with each other when it has to be with your child, and find the happiness by yourselves. The other thing too about Ari, she seems like to be very like a feminist or something, because she was like super upset at the guys for supporting each other, while the girls she was like super supportive of the girls, even though the girls were like to be honest, a lot of the girls were in the wrong here. Throughout this whole season, you saw them being in the wrong with each other, let alone in their own relationships. So yeah, if the girls are wrong in their own relationships and attacking one another, maybe you should not solely focus on the guys and try to bring them down for supporting one another. You should focus on the girls, tell them to stop backstabbing each other, and because I can understand you want to have girl power and all this and that, but you should view it more as not as men versus women. View it more as right and wrong. And I felt like in this season, the females were more in the wrong throughout, but just in general, like, hey, this person did wrong, this person did wrong, and not be mad at the guys for supporting one another. You should be asking yourself as to why the girls don't, and why do they backstab each other. So yeah, I don't think that feminist mindset is the best thing. I've seen a lot of toxic things when it comes to that, especially on social media when it comes to that that mindset. That's just my take on Ari and Benny. That focus on one another. Focus on yourselves and on your child. So we're gonna move on to the next couple, and that'll be Rob and Sophie. So for this couple, it should have just stayed in dating. They should have never got married. Rob has admitted to his wrongdoings, and he's taken accountability on that. So I can't be mad at the guy for letting things be known. He has said where he's been at, and I've seen him try. Like I said, I can only go off of what I see on the show. The reason I say that is because Kay, which is Sophie's friend, seems to say that, that you don't know Rob, he's been on here doing this and doing that. And to me, I can only go off of what I see on the show. And I'm pretty sure the show is going to show us everything that's happened between them. They're not going to just, keep footage hidden because, trust me, if they were having huge fights, that's ratings for them. So wouldn't they just show that? And if at any moment it became an abusive, horrible situation, they would have just been kicked off the show. There's been plenty of other couples in other seasons that once something got physical, that's why you don't see them anymore. They've been terminated by the 90 Day Fiancé show. So they don't support such things. So I don't buy it. I think Kay is coming across very negative. She's not really being, the type of friend that Sophie truly needs. She needs a friend that kind of holds her accountable, and I don't feel she has done that. She says she does, but I haven't seen it. She's just pretty much is there for her friend nonstop, which you should be for your friend, but meaning she does like everything for her. And it's kind of funny that that Rob has thought that maybe they had a thing going on is because Sophie, she comes out as bi, and she doesn't know if she wants men or women or both, or she's not sure where she's at on that. And to be honest, even though Kay says that she's 100% straight, in the season where they introduced her, she just came across like, oh, this is my girl. Like, she didn't come across like if this was her friend. She came across like, like if she would be a better husband than Rob. And it was just like, I don't know. Like, she brought that on herself with her actions and what she said and the way she keeps acting towards Rob. So yeah, she's just been very negative. And also Sophie's mom, again, very, very negative. She's just nonstop talked horribly about Rob and coming at him in a very negative way. And if nonstop Sophie, that's all she's hearing, negative from her friend, negative from her mom, it's not gonna work out. Not to mention Sophie, I feel, is just too young. She's just already is not sure where she is in her own wants, where her being bi and everything. So she's not sure if she wants a guy or a girl or what the case is. And so she's not even sure there. She should have never moved forward with this. This is something she probably should have explored before getting into a relationship. She needs some experience underneath her belt so that she can move on and show that she actually wants a relationship. And to be honest with you, throughout this whole entire stuff, previous seasons and everything, she hasn't shown she wants anything. I haven't seen her put any effort in anything. It's always been Rob did this, Rob did that, she doesn't take accountability for anything. She hasn't shown that she wants a relationship. She's just been attacking Rob nonstop. And Rob is in fault. on this because Rob just keeps indulging her. Like, I think that they need to just cut each other off, block each other, and never talk to each other ever again, just so they could get over each other. And because all they do is like they stop for a little bit, then I don't know where here comes a text. Next thing you know, they're hanging out again. Next thing you know, they're sleeping with each other. They need to just let each other go and just forget about each other. You know, it's gonna take a bit of time, yes, but they need to let each other go so that they can move forward. And if they don't do that, they're gonna keep going back and forth. And as I said, yeah, Sophie's just too young. She's like, what, 25, 26? They say that your brain is like, your frontal lobes are like fully developed at your mid-20s, 25 or so. So she just got there, and I feel like she has not been using her brain because she's just constantly, not taking accountability. She's always bashing this dude and never showing her side of what her wrongs are, because in her mind, it feels like she thinks she hasn't done anything wrong. And I also feel like she didn't try at all in the relationship. The other thing too is that she was very strange. Like she was like all upset about him. Let's break up, and being all mad at him. And then in the tell-all, she's like, oh, she got a boob job, and then was showing him the boob job. He's like, come on, that's so strange. It's like, do you hate the guy? Do you love the guy? And then the whole situation where her friend came out, it was just insanity there. That I feel like her friend is just very dramatic, throwing tantrums. That's another person that probably needs to, like I said, I don't think about couples therapy really working like that, but they probably need individual therapy, to figure themselves out. The fact that, that they would accuse Rob of being gay, whether that may be true or not, I don't know. I don't know the guy like that, so I can't say. He doesn't seem to be, but it's, to me, I hate when females do that kind of stuff. Like, oh, you were with him, and now that you're no longer with him, oh, I'm just gonna attack his manhood. And that's to me, that's just that's pathetic. Like, come up with something original. Like, be kind of grow up. Be an adult. Let's, it didn't work out, move forward. That's it. Don't attack the guy, calling him names, saying that don't attack his sexuality. Don't do none of that. There's no point in that. I don't know, we're like, oh, if you want to know the real reason I left him is because of this. It's like, come on, that was pathetic. She needs to grow up and stop acting like a little kid. Like the moment that she was with her friends, like, oh, so now they're together like mean girls in high school or something. Like, oh, yeah, that's why I left you, is because of this. And to me, it's so sad. She needs to grow up, and it's gonna be something that she just needs to be alone. Have her, young girl fun, but just not too much fun, because you're gonna end up having problems finding a guy if you just keep, or a girl, I don't know, depending what she wants. If all you do is just want to be that type of girl that that runs up your your body count or whatever, But she just needs to grow up and take accountability for her actions, and not have her friends sugarcoat things for her, and her mother as well, like sugarcoating things, which I found her mother to be very toxic and like I said, very negative as well. And even from everything that we've seen on the show, her mother wasn't even there to really raise her. So her mother just comes back, barely does any kind of raising, and then wants to say, oh, I want this and this for you. Like, you should have just been there for her from, like, literally from day one. She comes to this world, you raise her from then till she's an adult. And even as an adult, you still give advice to your child. And I feel like her mother still doesn't have her own life together. She still wants to be out there, kind of still thinking she's the young party girl herself. And if she doesn't, get her mind together and try to really help out her daughter from here on out, her daughter's gonna end up like her, just a person who's gonna be alone, still trying to figure things out at that late age. I feel kind of bad for her. I hope she gets her stuff together and does what she's supposed to do. As for Rob, like I said, he did his wrong. I'm not condoning it, but at least he took accountability for it, and it seemed like he wanted to make a relationship really happen. I hope that he just gets what he wants, finds that person that he wants, and is actually mature enough to keep it, to have that family that he truly wants to have. Let him have his fun right now. After a breakup, as a guy, you want to go have your fun, but after that, focus and leave Sophie in the past. So the last couple we're gonna cover is the worst for last, I guess. Is Jasmine and Gino. Literally definition of a shit show. It was horrible, horrible. A couple that should have never been. Jasmine came across as like one of the worst females we've seen on this show. Besides Angela, Angela's the worst that I've seen on 90 Day. But yeah, horrible, horrible. I mean, from what I've seen throughout all these past seasons, it was always in the past, it was always Jasmine just yelling at Gino, treating him like crap, and then eventually Gino now is more like had grew up a backbone and it attacked her back, but it's just been horrible. From what I know, that they met on a like a sugar baby website or something. So this, to me, is a relationship should have never happened. I mean, if you start your relationship in a sugar baby website, and then that just means that the lady just wants you for your money, and it's just like it's prostitution pretty much. It's just, it doesn't make any sense to me as to why you would take this seriously. I don't know why they would get a K1 visa. The system probably needs to be revamped when it comes to this kind of stuff. They need to fix that whole stuff about visas and stuff like that. Now with the current administration we have, they've been doing a lot of revamping. Maybe they should take a look at that, because the fact that you can meet a lady on some sort of escort type website and then that can be your actual wife that you marry, that does not make any sense to me. But anyways, the fact that they made it this far, it's insanity to me. She would always attack Gino, like I said, and from what I remember, the very first season that they were together on the show from previous seasons, she would attack him because I guess he didn't bring her gifts and stuff like that, and she would always lose her crap about that. And then I remember that, and I do blame Gino for this one, which didn't make a lot of sense when they had their big blowout in that first season that they were on. Was, I guess, he sent topless nudes or whatever of her to his ex, which to me made zero sense as to why you would do that. But yeah, Jasmine has been super disrespectful to Gino the whole time. She has mentioned how he doesn't satisfy her, that that he's addicted to corn and all that, and I don't understand why you would let a woman just disrespect you the way that she has disrespected him throughout. She has said that he's not enough down there for her, that her ex did it better, that all this and that. It's just like, as a man, I could not imagine taking that kind of disrespect and just being okay with it and even marrying the woman. Like, no, there's no way in hell I'm gonna be dealing with that. Then she does all this plastic surgery to herself. That was another whole situation too, because Gino was sending her money so that she could get, I guess, the wedding going or something, like a wedding dress or something like that. And she ends up using that to get some surgery. And then not only did she do that for surgery, but then I guess it wasn't even enough money. So then she gets money from her ex, who she was living in the same building, and was one of the guys that she had mentioned that he did it better and all this and that. It's just like, come on. She has mentioned that she hasn't slept with anybody throughout the relationship, at least until this season, where this whole open marriage situation. But Yeah, it's which I'm gonna cover in a little bit. Um, but I don't buy that. I mean, to me, she's probably been sleeping with that ex that she lived in the same building. Come on, like it was just a couple of floors away. It was like, ding dong, hey, I need it. Like, let's be real. It's she's not loyal. She's not that loyal type. To me, it was more money talks with that chick, and it's kind of always been that way. Again, don't know how he got this far. Like, I don't know what Gino was thinking. Like, Gino has like a lot of insecurities, and he never takes off his hat, and very rarely, I should say, because a couple of times he has, but he had an obsession with that. He's just insecure in himself in general. I feel he needs to just uh, work out, get his mind right. That dude needs therapy. Like, for real, like, just get cleansed, go to the gym, go do something, get your life together. Because Jasmine was never it. She's to me, she was everything that his family had mentioned in the past were like, oh man, we don't trust her, we don't want her, and they were right. They were in the right. And then the funny thing is that when she eventually came over here, then they all took her side, which which was kind of funny. But it's I'm sure they're probably not on her side now after her latest results and actions and everything. So yeah, it's just to me that they just disrespected each other so much. It was just never gonna work. And then he was withholding relations from her because he thought that by holding off relations that can control her, and then she was always cursing him out. Like, to me, whether he had relations with her or not, she was gonna curse him out because that's the type of chick she is. She's her mind is gone, and Gino has had enough. So his backbone's there, so he's cursing her out too. It's just two enemies in this marriage. They again should have never been, but they are where they are. They just needed to figure it out, and I guess at least they figured it out that they need to just leave each other the hell alone. I love how before she was so worried about her children, like, oh my God, she'll never see her children again, because I guess Gino didn't file for the visa for them, and was so upset. Now she was more worried about other things, like going to the gym to be with this other guy, Matt, um, which again, such insanity. So the fact that they were at this last resort made no sense, because this is not a couple that could be saved. They had zero respect for each other. They always cursing each other out. So if you have that kind of disregard for one another, like literally that person means that much of nothing to you, that you will like demean, like, like treat them worse than an animal, like put them down that badly, then you probably should not have been there. And then the fact that this therapist, and this is the therapist I was going to talk about, the worst one of all was Reba Thomas. I've seen her online. Horrible therapist to me. And why is that? She mentioned in the tell-all, oh, I explained all the rules for an open marriage, and I suggested that you shouldn't do those things unless you follow these steps, and your relationship has to be 100% before you do anything like that. To me, it was just the dumbest idea in the world for you to even mention open relationship to a already toxic, horrible relationship. This relationship had like zero chances of surviving on any grounds, let alone when you introduce something as insane as an open relationship. An open relationship, I'm going to be 100% my opinion on this. If you have an open relationship, you don't care about your partner. You really don't care about your partner. Any kind of cuckold, any of that stuff, if you're into that, you don't care about your partner, because you shouldn't be so insecure that that you get jealous about everything, but you should not be okay with your partner sleeping with other people. That should not be something you should want to see. That should not be something that you should be okay with. You know, it's something that you would do maybe if you were dating. If you were dating, and then again, once you're dating a person, and the person you're dating is doing stuff like that, you're not going to take them seriously. You know, this is stuff you would do maybe when you're having fun in a maybe a situationship or a friends with benefit situation where you sleep with other people and see them sleeping with others and all those types of things. Maybe that would be fine there, but in a marriage, you don't do that. It's to me, anybody that's okay with seeing their partner be with somebody else, you don't care about them. You just don't care about them. That's my opinion. Nobody can tell me otherwise on that. I couldn't imagine seeing my girl be with somebody else and that be okay. If you saw that and you're okay with it, you don't care about her because it does not bother you, or you have so many other girls that that like, why am I gonna worry about this one when I have 15 others that I sleep with? Like, and then if that's the case, then why be married? Like, it's I don't know. As society progresses, the depravity is at another level. There's no decorum at all. Like, there's nothing sacred anymore. Like, marriage is supposed to be like, a partnership that you somebody you grow old with, and you have good times and bad times. Not everything's perfect, but but you're always, but you're there for that person. And these people make a mockery of it. It's so horrible that these people do these kinds of things, like, like take these vows and like, oh, I promise to love you. No, you don't love each other, because people who love each other don't do the things that these people have done to one another. It's disgusting. This therapist, Reba, horrible therapist, because you should have never brought that up. Jasmine was looking for any excuse to sleep with anybody, and the moment you mention open marriage, she's like, oh, tell me about that. Like, why would you bring that up? So yeah, to me, she made a huge mistake doing that. And then the other reason why I know that she's not a good therapist is because of what she said at the end of the tell-all. Like, after the show finished, she goes backstage and goes to talk with Jasmine. He's like, oh, don't worry about them. They're haters and all this and that. Those people are not haters. Those people are trying to hold her accountable for her actions. Jasmine is in the wrong. She is a nasty human being for doing what she did. This whole situation, like I said, went way too far. Jasmine and Gino should have never been together. And I'm glad that they don't have a baby together, because that would have been worse for that child. But the fact that Gino had mentioned, oh, I would love to have a child. And then the moment that he agrees to open relationship, which he only agreed because of the threat in the last resort, Jasmine threat, I'm gonna leave you. She threatened him. I'm gonna leave you. I don't want to. I can't be with her in this relationship. And then on top of that, when he said on his side, I'll agree to an open marriage, but it cannot be with Matt. And she threw the biggest tantrum, started crying because it couldn't be with Matt. She already cared about the guy. Nobody could tell me otherwise on that. She cared about this. She started crying over this guy specifically. Like Gino was agreeing to something he did not want to do because you threatened him. And then when he did agree to it, then he just said, I don't want it to be this guy. And then no, it has to be that guy. It did not have to be that guy. It's just you cared about this dude. and you wanted it to specifically be that guy, and you could not take no for an answer. You had to have it your way. So yeah, she's a horrible person to me. Uh, Again, it's just so crazy to me that females do that kind of stuff where they would attack a man in the worst way. So anything that a guy feels bad about, that's exactly where they attack you. He wanted a child, and how did she attack him? She got pregnant by this other dude. And it was immediate because according to her, oh, I have problems conceiving and all this and that. Oh, you had zero problems getting pregnant by this dude. It was not that you had problems conceiving. It's just that you didn't want to with Gino. But with this dude, no problem. Let's just go. I hate when people do that, like, where they want to attack you in where you feel vulnerable, like where something that you knew that was a issue in your previous relationship, then in the very next relationship you immediately get over it. Like that's to me that's horrible. It's such a nasty thing to do that to somebody. I feel it just shows who you truly are as a person. If you're so against something, and then immediately when the next person comes, you completely 100% let it go and go for it. So bad. But Gino brought this upon himself, though. I can't 100% feel bad for him when he allowed these things to happen. He found her on the website that he found her on. Like, come on, she's a sugar baby. Like, it was never gonna work. You can't turn a 304 into a housewife. You just cannot do it. And I found that hilarious when Robin got into it, Jasmine got into it, because he called her out. He called her for what she was. And she is. And there's people need to hold her accountable to that. That is she is what she is. And it's kind of crazy to me. Like, again, she had mentioned how much she cared about her kids and wanted to go back to her country because she misses her kids and all this and that. And no, you're not focused on that anymore. You're just making kids with random guys, and hasn't even brought up about the situation where her new kids and all this and that. And then that Matt dude, such a scumbag. He just came onto like met her at the gym supposedly, like, and said, I'm just her friend and all this and that. Dude, stop lying. You were trying to, at any moment she gave you an opening, and you just wanted the permission to do so. I love, like, how they had that weird phone call talking about the rules for the open relationship. The guy was like laughing at Gino, like he knew what he was gonna do. He already had his plans. If they hadn't already been sleeping with each other, which I'm sure they were, it's just nasty. Like I said, that's kind of like, the major reason I made these videos was specifically for this, because I wanted to just talk about how much of a scummy person Matt and Jasmine are. Like, my God, like, the fact that there's people like that out there in this world is insanity. It's insanity. It's ridiculous. We shouldn't be okay with it. I would hope people out there are not supporting in social media. We're like, oh, good for you, queen. You did your best, blah, blah, blah. Don't support that. That's disgusting actions, I'm not saying going out there and just start typing hate towards her, I think people should just let her be. Don't give her any, any type of views. Don't give her anything that benefits her, is what I'm saying. It's just like, let her be. Like, So nasty. But yeah, that's just what I kind of think about that relationship. I'm glad that it seems to be over between her and Gino. Gino again needs to focus on himself and like build himself from, because he's like rock bottom right now. After going through all this, like the dude is lower than the low right now. He needs to build himself back up and be happy within himself and find a real relationship with somebody that actually cares about you, not because of what you can do for them. And as for her, I guess just focus on your children. I guess that's all I could say. I wouldn't even say to have a relationship with this Matt guy, because he doesn't care about you either. I'm sure he doesn't. He was just happy to have his fun, and if they have a relationship, hey, good for you, but it's not gonna end well. She's unstable mentally. He's like I said, a opportunist, was just trying to have fun, and he's gonna go on his way. So if she wants to, be upset and get mad at another man, then yeah, go have a relationship with Matt. But it's not gonna work out. I'm positive it's not gonna work out. So yeah, I would just hope that she focuses on her children, and hopefully her children don't copy the mother's actions, because with her raising them, I mean, that type of mentality, those types of, all this is for the, is online for their kids to view, so her kids to view. And so I would just, again, hope the best for her children, and that they grow up to be positive people in this world. And that's all you can, that's all I can hope for them. But yeah, I'm gonna just leave the video like that. This is gonna be a long, a long video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Like, who was your favorite couple? If you think what I said was too harsh about Jasmine or any of these other people, just put it in the comments. Let me know what you think. If you guys have any suggestions of a show or movies or anything, just again, comments. Share this video, and thanks for the support, and hope you enjoy. Peace.